Today I want to talk to you about image and images and how important these are in your hypnosis marketing. As therapists, we love to dig beneath the surface of our clients' problems so that we can help them overcome their issues. That means spending time with them, getting to know them, working through things with them. And that takes a number of sessions in which we build a great therapeutic working alliance. Your potential clients, however, generally only spend a few seconds picking you and your therapy services over your competitors. That is, unless you get a referral. In other words, your clients are generally superficial when it comes to choosing their therapist. If you weren't aware, 55% of people will spend less than 15 seconds on your website. A reasonable time to stay on a website is considered to be around the 30-second mark. If you have a great dwell time for your visitors, that would be considered over the 2-minute level. That means that you have an incredibly short time in which to make an impression on your visitors so that they choose you over other therapists. So with such small amounts of viewing time that your clients are looking at your website, what's making them choose you as their therapist over your competition? Well, here are some of the possible reasons. The first things they're going to look at is that your website looked nice. As my teacher used to say, it's a weak word, but it actually is true. It means that the colours, the layout of your site look good. There were no obvious errors on the page and the images appealed. They spoke to the client in some way, and suddenly your website is elevated above the others that they've looked at. Your website was full of written and video testimonials from your clients singing your praises. There's nothing that a potential client likes more than seeing somebody else having gone through their problem and come out the other side having successful therapy. If you've got testimonials on your website, they can do wonders for your business. The main things that can attract a client to your business is that your practice is in the right area or in a fantastic environment. Perhaps you're working from a spa. What's not to love for a client than to see someone when they're on a break and chilling and spending their money on doing nothing but looking after themselves? Or perhaps you're working in one of the shishi areas in the towns and cities that are there all over the world. I know I used to practice in London's Harley Street. Many of the therapists there were not necessarily the best therapists, but because they had the Harley Street name behind them, they could charge double what you could in any other area in London. One of the most important things that people look at on a website is your picture. And one of the things that's going to attract people is if you look good. And I know most of us don't look like supermodels or Brad Pitt, but it does attract in your clients. Look at the photo on your website, and does your picture appear friendly, non-threatening, beautiful, handsome, professional? If it doesn't, then choose another picture. And anyone who is doing amateur hour here, bin it. It is not worth it. Get a professional photo created to make you look your best. I know that one of the things that attracts clients to some of my websites is the ones that have the links that I've placed on them to some of the famous media outlets that I've worked with. I've worked with The Sun, the Daily Mirror, the BBC, all kinds of famous publications and broadcasters. And when your client sees that, it assumes that you must be good. Because if you're appearing on TV and in the newspapers, then you must be elevated above your fellow therapists. Trying to attract those media outlets to do interviews with you, or so that you can provide information to them, is a key point in attracting premium clients. I've noticed that some therapists tend to place success rate statistics on their website. And they may put something like, I resolve 99% of all problems that come to me in one session. And your clients, your potential clients, are hooked from the start. Now, of course, this isn't always ethical, but statistics, when they're done well, can reel clients into your website, especially if you can prove them. Also, when you link to a guru or somebody famous, then that kudos from them also rubs off on you. For example, I see many therapists who've got pictures of themselves and Paul McKenna on their front pages. It means by some kind of strange form of osmosis, you're the next best thing to seeing the man himself. And we know that isn't true, but it still is a client attractor. Very simply put, a potential client who comes across your website randomly has no idea whether you're any good or not. They are looking for really simple, easy ways to identify whether you're the real deal. They haven't generally got the inclination or the time to research the industry inside out, so they are going to pick someone who gives the impression of success. The examples that I've given you are just some of the reasons why one website is more likely to stand out against the others. Of course, not all of the examples are ethical, but they are tactics that I see employed by certain hypnosis practices time and time again to pull in customers. But of course, there are also websites that offer the client the absolute opposite impression. I call them, anti-sales websites, client repellents. They propel your clients to your competitors and you don't even realize you're doing it. And I see them all the time. One I came across this morning had a picture of 2 lilies on the front that looked like funeral flowers on the front page. Another I saw had an incomprehensible section about metaphors linked to a video about a village. Sorry, but these images, these videos do nothing to attract your clients. Your website needs to do some really simple things. A client comes to your website and they've got a problem. Your website needs to demonstrate that you work successfully with this problem. And where possible, you have testimonials backing up your success rates to that particular problem. You present your client with a phone number and an email to contact you, and your job is done. Yes, of course, your website can become more sophisticated as you master these basics. You can sell courses, collect emails, offer ebooks and so on, but get the basics right first if you're looking for client bookings. Appear confident, authoritative, and offer insight into your client's issues. Show that you have the knowledge, the skill, the ability to resolve their problems, and then you have a sale. Look quirky, bonkers, write things about nothing to do with what the basics are, and the clients are lost and they will go elsewhere. They have no idea why the use of metaphors can be a great tool in hypnosis, and they don't care. As the saying goes, keep it simple, stupid. Now, the use of images in hypnosis website is hugely important. And I'm going to give you some marketing tips now to help you with the use of images on your website. Firstly, make sure that you use images in all of your blog posts, on your Facebook pages, your Twitter feeds, and so on. HubSpot says that posts with relevant images get 94% more views than content without relevant images. If you're using an image of yourself, make sure you look great. Sadly, quirky looking people don't sell products and services. Make sure, as you can see from this picture here, that you label your image in the alt tag sections of your website. For those of you who are not aware, a typical image may have a name like 123img.jpg. Obviously, this name is totally meaningless and in no way relates to the services and products that you're offering. This means that you need to rename the file to something that Google or another search engine can recognize. Change the file to something like Hypnosis in Derby and you'll now start to appear in Google image search. And as you can see from what I've illustrated here, WordPress has a great way of presenting that to you to make it easy. Whatever you do, reduce the image sizes on your website. Why? Because page loading time is an element that's used in website ranking. Whenever you have an image that takes too long to load, your potential client has given up and gone to another website. You can edit your images with tools such as PicMonkey and PhotoFlexer. And if you want to find out more about your page loading speed, you can head on over to Google's Page Speed Tester. If you have a website with decorative backgrounds, swirls, designs, beware, as it can also be classed as an image that will slow down your load time. Where possible, try and create clean sites with optimized images. And remember, there are a number of free image sites out there where you are able to get something that may be usable on your website. In some cases, the license may require you to acknowledge the original photographer. I know that I typically don't use the free image websites. I often use paid websites such as CanStock Photo, and that means you can buy a bundle of pictures that allows you to download a certain number of images of a certain size. Beware trying to copy something from the internet which is owned by one of these sites without paying a fee, because you're bound to start to get threatening letters from their lawyers demanding large sums of money. If you aren't sure about your website, then get a second opinion. Leaving it to chance means that potentially you're leaving thousands of pounds on the table. With the right help, you can turn your website and images from a client repellent to a client magnet. I know that I offer mentoring and hypnosis marketing services that can turn failing businesses into thriving concerns. Believe it or not, over 50% of my clients had no customer calls at all in the 6 months before they rang for help. Without our expertise, those clients would have given up and gone back to their old day job. And I can tell you, they did not want to do that. If that sounds like you, then you can contact us at www.hypnotherapymarketingexpert.com, or you can buy our ebook, which is available on the website or on the Amazon store.